Hey traders, it's Ryan from leprivatebanker.com. I'm just going to do a quick recap on the past 2 days of trade on crude oil, and then quickly touch base on the SP500 as well today. So on crude oil, yesterday we opened gap down, and we just found sellers pretty much off of the open, and we had that previous week's low at 63.72. So off of the open, what I try to do is I try to take a sort of destination trade with a gap fill scenario. So we came in, and we'd seen the overnight high and low put in. We've seen the low come in, and we came back into value here. And off of the open, just before the open, 9:30. 9 o'clock, we see this pullback, and we opened basically just inside value. So I went long, and I managed to get like one scale into Vwap, and the market rotated down. We rotated down again, and I ended up taking a full stop on this, on 2/3 of my position below this 64.33, and kind of just waited to see what the market was doing. I mean, I said on the forum there was be careful of the selling imbalance, because around the initial balance and what we were looking at, and there was a selling imbalance on the cards. But I just thought to me it looked like we were trying to bait in buyers, bait in sellers to sort of run them out and push this back to that previous higher day and the developer value area high, to then set it back down. So then we would have closed the gap out, but just got it wrong, and we ended up basically just finding sellers off the open after the first period came in. I'll just quickly show you this here. So we see that first peak below in B, and we just couldn't see responsive buyers, and we just see this massive long liquidation in the market. I mean, and I pretty much missed this move down. I missed the move down. Trying to be a buyer for a gap fill, it's just the wrong way to approach that. I mean, I should have been on top of this with the short, but I just got suckered in to the long side, and ended up sort of getting stopped out on this. Doesn't matter. This happens. You can't be right at every single trade. And so after that happened, I missed this move down, and I managed to get a small trade on the selling imbalance on the way down, and but it didn't really go too far. I mean, we just basically see this two-way trade, and into the close, into the J period, I managed to sort of just add a bit to my position, and this nice spike down in K into a new year low, and so I ended up doing all right on the day, but not taking advantage of the whole day. But regardless, I mean, what we basically saw was just, like I said, just a long liquidation in the market. I mean, so this is old business in the market. We came down, and anybody who had been accumulating longs in this area, they basically got squeezed out of the market into a new year low. So they got forced to cover their positions. So they were forced to be sellers on this day and push price lower. So obviously we know this is old business and not new business, because it's long liquidation. And coming in today, I mean, we see a new low of we see a new low, 2014 low. We see a new 2014 low overnight. So overnight we printed 62.25, and then we came in on the day. We came in, and we saw mean reversion algos come in overnight, and we see a reversion to the mean, and then. So we'd already seen a slight buying imbalance, and suggested two-way trade with an open inside of yesterday's range. So in A period, we'd open in the middle of the range. There's nothing to do. There's no edge here, and we sold off down towards the lows. And then in B period, we spiked down below yesterday's low, and to that 1.5 standard deviation and the developing value area low. And here there was just clear buyers present. I mean, you can see the push down. There's just some nice absorption into that 1.5 standard deviation, and we see responsive buyers. So this is where I established my long position on the day, and the target was pretty much the other side of yesterday's range, but we just couldn't trade into that upper balance. So, and we came we had the morning balance. We had double distribution day yesterday, and so we had the upper balance and we had the lower balance, and we basically just see two-way trade inside this distribution from the lower distribution from yesterday, and so just some nice longs off the open destination trade to the other side of value, and the market pulled back to the yesterday's developing value confluence with today's developing value. and just another nice long into the close there with a buying imbalance into the close. I mean, just continued two-way trade, so just there was opportunity on both sides of the market today. But obviously the correct way to trade this is to trade off of the extreme. So I mean, you could have been a seller here, but like I said, the correct way to trade this is to be a buyer off of the low. I mean, until we break this low, then the target obviously becomes the other side of the distribution bell curve from the previous day. So just quite nice trades today. And we had quite nice range to work with. We had like, what did we put in on a day? 154 cent on a day. So there was some nice volatility to work with on crude oil. So I'm just going to quickly look at some high time frame stuff here. We opened this week and we didn't even test last week's value, and we've auctioned just down to a new low, and pretty much just filled in some volume from where we see this responsive buyer off the month, and we've auctioned down here, and we're just seeing this two-way trade at the low of this year's current low. So I mean, we was looking like we were going to potentially see two-way trade here. I mean, last week's low at 60. Make sure I get this right. Yeah, 63.72 is a big line in the sand. I mean, we can't decide whether we're going to be an inside week, outside week, and we're just basically seeing this compression coming in to the market at the minute. So whatever way we break out this compression is most likely going to either be a reversion back to last week's value, or we're going to see an imbalance on the week, and we're going to see continued downside with potentially a new year low. So I mean, we've auctioned down, and we're seeing value catch up price on the month now, and we've seen nice distribution here. So it does look like we could potentially see a new low on the year. I mean, I was contemplating whether just again to see two-way trade and potentially a move back to hold on, let me get this out of the way. A move back to that previous value area. I mean, there's got this whole low volume usage area that we've not tested from last month, and we seem to be holding it, and value is catching up with price now. I mean, we have the 5 EMA sort of catching up here now. So I mean, today was just a compression hesitation day, it's the balance day, waiting for value to catch up with price. So we'll have to just see the reaction here as the market continues to auction. I mean, we've got crude inventories tomorrow, and I believe on Thursday there's some news out in America whether they're gonna obviously relieve the ban on crude export or something. I mean, can't really say anything about that. I need to research a bit more into that, but I do know there's something on Thursday. There's probably going to be a market move regards a decision on a policy for crude export in the US. So we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, on the week, there's some we're sort of holding this support here. I mean, there's this gap and this responsive buyer from this previously this sort of $63 a barrel, so we're pausing that. But I mean, there is a very, very visual area here. There's $58.50 here, and all of the macro time frame eyes are going to be on this level at the moment. So I mean, the market will most probably gravitate towards this 58.50. It's just how we do this now, and how we continue from here. So anyway, I'll leave it at that for crude, and again, we're just waiting for higher time frame value to catch up for the reaction, and whether we're going to see an imbalance on the month, or we're going to come in for two-way trade. So for the SP500, I mean, we see this big gap down today. I mean, my TPOs are all over the place. So we opened gap down, and we formed the morning balance, and obviously we went back for the gap fill mean reversion. So a huge day on the S&P 500 today. I mean, kind of backed off of them highs when we came in, and we see that sort of 3-day balance at the highs. And now we've seen 3 days of one time framing down now, and the 5x or the faster time frame moving averages are starting to roll over here. So it'd be interesting to see whether we just spike higher into a new year high, because we don't have that great a high on the year at the minute, but we obviously just run out of steam into this 2079. So just have to see what happens here. I mean, the S&P in my eyes is very, very overbought at the moment, and we needed a decent pullback and some selling to come in. I mean, maybe this is the pullback before we continue to rally higher, or maybe we're just going to see just a decent pullback here into the year's end, and decent excess at the top of the year. I mean, I've not really been trading the S&P that much the last couple of months, so But I do believe that we're just sitting on top of this pullback here was to the quarterly developing value area high, and we've seen responsive buyers on the gap fill here. So we just have to come in tomorrow and see whether we're going to trade up in this upper balance, or whether we're going to continue to balance and grind lower into these high time frame moving averages. That's yet to be seen yet. So obviously to have to take it one day at a time and see where we go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you all did well. As usual, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.